Do Liverpool really need Isak, having watched Ekitike's brilliant start to his career? Should Florian Wirtz be benched while he gets used to the Premier League? And Conor Bradley versus Jeremie Frimpong as your number one right back? Let's discuss here on LFC Transfer Room, powered by passion, fueled by facts. Let's get into it. Dan, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Everyone that's watching, thank you for joining us. Dan, how are we this Sunday, this weekend, first match day weekend? Haven't watched it all. How's your weekend been?
Wonderful as always. And hello, everybody. We're back again. It's been a whole week, I think. We've been getting things sorted. As you guys can see, Charlie has a new background, a new setup. Everything looks wonderful over there. Myself, I think I've been trying out to just play with some lights in the background. So at least we're getting better for you. So now we're just bringing you new content. Other than that, we're ready to rock and roll, man. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. It's warm over here in the UK. It's been an absolute roaster, and fire weekend for football, I believe. I think anyway. We're gonna be talking very, very specially about the transfers so far that we have seen at Liverpool. Those players that are coming, we're not really caring about the players that have gone. They've gone. That's it. With the chapter's closed, the door is closed. Bye bye. But we're going to be talking about our transfers that have come in, how they've performed, how we feel thus far. I know it's only early days in their Liverpool career, but we can give a bit of a context, can't we? And we'll love to get people's thoughts as they come in. You know, before you do, like, subscribe, drop a comment, give us your thoughts as well about the ratings that we're going to give these players. Whether you think we're on the spot, you know, hit the nail on the head, or a little bit harsh, you know, that's what we're here for, aren't we, Dan? We just want to be talking about Liverpool and give unfiltered descriptions and opinions about Liverpool, right?
Absolutely. And big disclosure ahead of time, we're going to be rating the players based on price tag, based on their current preseason, how many matches they played, and obviously personal opinion as well. But this doesn't mean that obviously this cannot change or anything. I mean, we're just judging by the first, what's been like 2 or 3 weeks since these players have arrived. So don't go crazy if we give a rating that you may not like. Keep in mind, this might change. We might be able to do this mid-season. Who knows, Charlie, right?
Yeah, and there's context as well. It's not just throwing out a number. There's a little bit of context as to why we've come up with what we have. We're going to kick off with the first player, Mamardashvili, the long-awaited arrival who came, the Georgian player, goalkeeper, a very, very good price. But actually, it was a price that was agreed last season, around about 30-odd million, 34 million, I think it was, with Valencia, his parent club. He stayed there for his season, came over here, having seen off Kelleher. Kelleher's gone over to Brentford, very, very good player, and all kudos to him for everything he's done. But Mamardashvili is now holding the spot and will be pushing the wonderful, wonderful Alisson Becker, who's over my shoulder. Let's just get into it. He played a lot of games in pre-season. Now, that was possibly because it was a bit unfortunate what happened with Alisson. We don't actually know the full reports. I think it may have been his wife was a little bit unwell or needed some surgery, so he needed to go back over to South America just to see his family. But, you know, he didn't get to play in the Community Shield or the first match day against Bournemouth. But Dan, what are your thoughts?
Impressed, very, very impressed. Let me just say something. Of course, it's preseason. Mamardashvili is making a huge jump from the Spanish league to the Premier League. There's always that much pressure, but there's been these glimpses of world-class saves that he's pulled out. And trust me, I was so worried when Kelleher was leaving because, I mean, we had the best number 2 in the league, no doubt. Nobody came even close to Kelleher. But as soon as I saw Mamardashvili, a few mistakes with his feet aside. I think overall has been amazing. I can see the potential in there. And I think the best thing for him at the moment is to be a backup under probably one of the world's number 1, a goalkeeper. And until he adjusts to the league, until he figures some things out. And I think we are clearly looking at our future number 1. So should I give you my rating, Charlie, or not?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, fee, a splendid fee. It was wonderful considering his level, his quality. Age as well. Based on what I've seen so far, I'm gonna go ahead and give it an 8. So, what do you think?
So the reason why I've given this score, and again, the fee is fantastic. The age profile of the player is fantastic. His credentials cannot be doubted. He's played for a poor Valencia side and made some really, really, really good inroads into that. Showed a lot of promise last season. He showed a lot of promise in pre-season. Now, the reason why I've gone for this score, I think it's more middle of the road because we haven't seen enough of the lad going forward. And I've given 5 out of 10. Now, it may sound, I know, before people start kicking off and having a go at me, the reason being it's too early to tell how good he actually can be. Now, the issue that you brought up earlier there, Dan, was the goal against AC Milan, I believe it was, where him and Tsimikas got a little bit confused with their passing, let the ball kind of go past him, and then the AC Milan player just kind of scored, walked into the net, essentially. That aside, I've been really, really, really impressed with him. But as I said, he is performing against my favourite, or one of my favourite Liverpool players of all time. One of the greatest goalkeepers here in Premier League history, one of the greatest goalkeepers in Liverpool's history as well, having won it all. Now, there's a lot for him to do to come anywhere near. That's why I've given that score.
Charlie, we're starting pretty rough today, huh? Look at you. This is a rough night for you, man. 5 out of 10.
Yeah, 5. Yeah, but there's context. There's context. It's a key word, isn't it? I think it's just too early to tell. And when you're going against one of the best, who's one of the best is a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 most weeks. You need to be hitting those levels constantly for years to be able to get close to him, and that's the reason why I've gone with a 5. And it just, as I said, the context is it potentially is a little bit too early for him in that respect. He will be number one at the club, and we'll see him play potentially Champions League games, cup games, and then we'll see what he's all about.
Absolutely. Let's move on to the next one.
Kerkez. Now, this is an interesting one. Again, maybe I'm potentially being a little. Shall I start off with this one? I'll go.
Please.
I'll go with this one. Milos Kerkez, a very, very interesting young individual. Now, again, the price, a lot of money for a fullback, 40 million from Bournemouth. Now, on top of that, the caveat against that is he's already got Premier League experience. He's played at big clubs before, so he was at AC Milan, I believe it was, before this. So he's got credentials in that respect. He's played against some of our boys at youth level, so he knows the club. He knows Conor Bradley very, very well, having been tackled by him those youth games. Now, I have gone for a 6 out of 10. Now this is based off what I have seen. And if he is going to be playing, now he's first choice. That's the way I see it. He's going to be first choice ahead of Robbo. He was subbed off pretty early-ish in the Bournemouth game, match day 1. Had a yellow card, seemed a yellow card with a reckless tackle, and looked lost against Palace, against Bournemouth. Now, it does raise some concerns because we've seen it before with Kerkez when he had played for Bournemouth for 18 months. We've seen this type of petulance, and he needs to grow out of it. He needs to be improving in that respect because Robbo will breathe down his neck. He's not going to let go of that first place. What do you think?
I think this might be the first and maybe only one out of all the ratings that we're going to give, though I might agree with you, Charlie. Again, I think there's a few things, like few disclosures we had to put out there. It is not a debate, or I don't think it's really questionable, the fact that we signed the best bet left back in the league for £40 million. It was a steal, and then we really got the best player in the league with that position. But if we do end up rating his performances that he had so far, and again, we're doing this pretty early, we are aware of this, but if we have to give it a rating, I do want to say 6 as well. Out of all the new signings, he's probably the one that has been a little bit rocky, a little bit not so convincing. but we've seen what he can do. I mean, just 2-3 months ago, he was literally bossing that left back flank with Bournemouth, and we know what we can get. It's just a matter of him adjusting to Arne Slot's tactics, the setup, and everything. But so far, I haven't been as impressed as I was last season with him. So I'm gonna give you a 6 as well. But I can guarantee that as soon as we talk maybe mid season, that number is gonna get closer to the 8-9s.
Yeah, and again, he's playing against Semenyo, who was fantastic, and there's certain things that happen in the game that we should never ever experience as individuals, as people, etc. Even especially at Anfield, but he took those 2 goals really well, and yeah, he's locked up Salah before in previous seasons, or kept him quiet. So he's definitely got it in him. Just needs to learn to play a different system, a bit more of a top flight, championship title contending setup rather than Bournemouth, who is very much a counter attack. So there's things to learn there. And I think on the other side, we're gonna get into Jeremie Frimpong, which is a bit of a debate, which is what we said, didn't we? So do you want to kick off with Frimpong and your thoughts there, Dan?
Absolutely. So with Jeremie Frimpong, I've been absolutely amazed by the talent, by how much energy he has, how quick he is, and not only that, but also his personality. But I think we can say that he was the steal of the season. If I'm not wrong, Charlie, can you confirm his price tag? Was it 25 or 35?
No. It's around about the 35 million pound mark. So a really good deal from Leverkusen, something that's kind of been brewing for a long time. So yeah, a really good deal for someone who's 24, has already got. He's played for Man City, hasn't he? So there's an interesting story that he came out with really quickly. Bit of an anecdote. He, as a youth player, had the choice of going to Liverpool. And the reason that he didn't go to Liverpool is because of distance. So Man City came in and actually made an offer for him, but his actual first choice was Liverpool. So inadvertently, he's ended up at the place that he actually wanted to be years ago. So okay, we've essentially loaned him out to a number of clubs and let him develop, and we paid a nice fee for him. I think it's really good.
It's more than fair, really. And honestly, he might be one of my favorite ones, probably my second favorite, right before a certain striker that we signed from Germany. But honestly, I've been so impressed. I would love to give him a little more than Mamardashvili. I think I went a little too high with Mamardashvili. But the fact that he's impressed me more than him, the price tag, everything that he just brings to the team, I'm going to give it an 8 as well, maybe an 8.5.
Ooh, okay.
It's a very high number. The only thing and the only asterisk I want to add in here is that I have not been as impressed with his defensive abilities now. This is something we all knew from the very beginning because he's a very attacking player, but it's a huge threat going up front. And I've been impressed by his speed, by his dribbling ability. He's been taking players left and right. But I do think that within a year or so, he's going to improve a lot with the defensive skills.
Absolutely, I 100% agree. So I've actually changed it. Well, you've convinced me a little bit, Dan. Not a lot, but you've convinced me just a tiny bit. I've gone from a 7 to a 7.5. There you read it, folks. So 7.5 out of 10. Now the goal, obviously against Palace, whether he meant it or not, he still contributed and he kicked off his Liverpool career really well. But he was okay against Bournemouth. Now the caveat is, Arne Slot said they had a bit of an issue with his hamstring, and so he's potentially trying to protect that in the second half, and obviously got substituted. So hopefully that isn't something that's going to crop up. And the issue is we've already got Conor Bradley who's injured already. So for me, let me ask you a really quick question: if both are fit and firing, who's your number one right back?
Man, that's a tough question because honestly, we've seen how much our defensive line has struggled lately in the past few games. So to start the season off, I'm going to say Conor Bradley because we know how solid he is defensively, and I think that's more important when it comes to what we need right now than the attacking threat. Because right now we have Wirtz, Szoboszlai, Ekitike, and all these players that we're going to get into, right? But I think I will go with Conor Bradley, even though he's been Frimpong has been one of my favorite players. But I'm pretty sure if you ask everybody, they're going to have different opinions. I want to hear what you're going to say. But for me, Bradley, just to start off the season at least.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Connor would be my number one. Now, actually, I think the reason why Frimpong's been brought in and Kerkez has been brought in, if you look at the styles of fullbacks that we've got four very, very similar fullbacks, attacking, very, very good attacking, quick. And so, yes, I would say Bradley's number one. But it's actually horses for courses kind of situation. If we are allowed to be a bit more or need to be a bit more defensive, Conor Bradley. If we need to be really, really attacking, Conor Bradley's very, very good in showing this. But Frimpong, he's capable of doing that up and down that right wing, and he has actually potentially a little bit more versatility than Conor because he can play higher up. So there's the AFCON situation with Salah. So there's potential for both of them to be on the same pitch at the same time.
And honestly, Conor Bradley has some pretty impressive runs forward. I mean, the first thing I think about Conor Bradley is just him at that final third. I mean, just always getting closer to the box and taking on players next to Salah. So even though Conor Bradley's still a pretty young player and he's barely starting to ease into those starting right back position, if he ever gets starting right back role, I think he is an overall more rounded player. Nonetheless, we'll see what happens with Frimpong. Like I said, it's been a brilliant start of the season so far. And Charlie, I was going to say, I want to ask you one more thing really quickly before we move on. Do you think there's a faster player in the Premier League than Frimpong at the moment, from what you've seen?
No, I think there's Semenyo who's a very, very quick. Mickey van der Ven is meant to be absolutely astronomical, really, really, really quick. But actually, Frimpong is up there, and his ability to course correct is vital for this team. The one thing that we've struggled with so far this season is the transition. So when we've lost the ball kind of 30 yards from our goal, is how are we able to recover the balls? And I think the pace of Frimpong is going to be vital for us kind of recovering those balls. I don't think that's something that we could ask from Trent. As good as Trent is going forward and the ball at his feet, the recovery just wasn't there. And I think we've got that in two players. You could say that actually with three or four of our fullbacks, all four of them have the ability to turn really, really quickly. But to come back to your question, I don't believe there's many faster players. He's up there.
I like that. I like that answer, and I think we're able to move into the next one as we're closing in into that 20 minutes.
So I'm going to finish off I'm going to finish the defensive department. So we're going to talk about a very, very special player, I believe, and I had a really, really good conversation with the Serie A Spotlight podcast. Giovanni Leoni. We haven't seen him play, but I still feel it's worth kind of just having a real quick discussion about the potential of this lad. He's 18. He's come in with a lot of money, 29 million pounds as a starting fee. There's a 10% sell-on clause, I believe. But the potential for this lad is 6'5". I don't know if you saw this video the other day when he signed. He was standing next to Alisson 6'3", and he was looking up. He was looking up at this young lad, and
I think he's 6'4".
Whoa. He's 6'5". I think he's 6'5". Maybe
no, Alisson. I think Alisson is 6'4".
Yeah, so Alisson's 6'3", I believe. And this lad 6'5", and even Arne Slot was like, "Whoa! Look at the size of this kid. What they're feeding him."
Is he still going to grow? I don't think so, right? After 18, that's as high as you get, I think.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I was potentially still growing. I'm still growing. Probably horizontally rather than vertically.
You and me both, brother.
Oh, man. But yeah, who knows? With sports science, the way that we have sports science at this club, and that's probably a really, really good, interesting point. When I was speaking to Matt Fennick about Giovanni, the conversation came up about the initial speed. So he's probably really good speed, but his acceleration is probably not as good. Now, with the sports science that we have and the ability to be able to identify muscles and how we can actually develop players, he's young enough for his muscles to actually develop and become quicker to get those fast twitch muscles. So I think he's actually in a really, really good place to actually develop that skill over years. So yeah, I'm really, really impressed. I think he's going to be an absolute monster. And I've got a soft spot for Italian players, as you know, Fede Chiesa, one of my favourites. He hasn't played, but yeah, you know, come on, Forza Italia, Forza Liverpool, Leoni. I'm. It's going to be same as Mamardashvili. Same principle for me. 5 out of 10. And the only reason is because we just haven't seen him. But for the fee, the potential, you know, everything about him, he has all the ingredients. We just need to be able to see it. For me to be able to give him a score, a realistic, real life score. I don't know what you think.
Okay, no, okay. I'm gonna try to calm down a little bit because I think you're right. If I try not to be as biased, it's a very similar principle to Mamardashvili.
Yeah.
They're both rated as one of the highest prospects in the world. Similar young age bracket. I think Giovanni is 18, while Mamardashvili is 21. I think it is
something crazy. Yeah, he's not too old.
Both super tall, both super talented. Both come from lower league divisions in the I mean, well, first tier, but lower end divisions towards the relegation battles. So it's very hard to judge, but it's very easy to get excited over the fee that we paid for them.
You get 10 years out of these guys, 10 plus years. This fee is peanuts.
And not only that, we do have to take into consideration that the reason that Giovanni Leoni was brought in, it was not because he was an above average center back, or maybe he's seen as a potential future top center back. The reason we brought him in is because he's seen as the next Virgil van Dijk, as his successor. So all these analytics, I mean, he is going to be replacing the best center back in the world. We're not talking about just the best center back at Liverpool or maybe in the league. He is said to become the best center back in the world. So for that reason is why my excitement is over the roof for this kid. I mean, kid is just like 10, 11 years more older than me, but I'm still going to give it a little bit more than Mamardashvili because I think he has a bigger ceiling after what I've seen at all these former Italian legends talk about him. And also in the video, by the way, everybody go watch the video. We're going to have to add it as a card somewhere in here.
Yeah.
So interesting. By the way, the fact that Italian people just rate him so highly.
But see, right, on that, they've got pedigree. So Italian footballers have got pedigree at this centre-back. So if you think about Nesta, Cannavaro, Maldini, Baresi, you got all these great players. You know, Bastoni is probably the modern great. Chiellini, all those. You keep reeling off all these names. And there's lots of players. Baresi actually came out, didn't he, and said that this guy is actually going to be phenomenal. He's got everything, and that's why I'm excited. But I'm trying to keep my feet on the ground, on the floor, be realistic, and say 5 out of 10. What do you think?
God, man, you're so harsh, Charlie, tonight. If I gave him Mamardashvili, what did I give him? I gave him an 8, right? If I gave him an 8, I'm going to give Leoni a 7. Obviously, we haven't seen him play, but just the fee, the excitement, and the fact that he's so massive in size. I mean, 6'5" could be an understatement. I mean, he might be 6'6".
Yeah.
The difference between him and Alisson was massive. Yeah. So until we finally get some public results on that height, but I'm gonna give it a 7. And if you don't mind, Charlie, at the very end of the video, before we wrap up, can we just give it an average between your rating and mine? Just we can put it out.
It's going to involve like Excel spreadsheets, man. I'm like, I haven't been prepared for that, right? What are you doing now? I'm going to get an Excel spreadsheet and then
or we can ChatGPT it. ChatGPT it as well. But let me jump into the next one while you get everything sorted out.
You go. So we got either Ekitike or Florian Wirtz.
Let's go into Florian Wirtz, I think, because he's the next one on the pitch. Florian Wirtz, who was brought to the team for and almost 150 million euros pound, but a pretty intelligently purchased from Richard Hughes, as he added lots of add-ons into the deal, and we ended up bringing him for like 96 million pounds, if I'm not wrong. I gotta say 2 things, so I'm gonna give 2 different takes on this. I'm gonna give it a bias rating and a non-bias rating. I'm gonna give you first my non-bias rating, and that's I have not been so impressed with his performances, and the fact that his fee was so high is going to make me probably give him the second worst or the worst rating out of them all. if it's non-biased. So I'm just going to give it a 6. A flat 6 because he hasn't really been as brilliant as we know that he's been. But that's just a matter of time now. If you want my bias rating, and probably the one that I'll give you, is going to be a solid 7, 7.5, because God, when he just touches the ball, reminds me of Coutinho so badly. Such a classy player, man. In fact, let's just leave it at a 7 for me. 7 for me. What do you think, Charlie? Can you give me your rating?
Okay, so this is it appears like it's the hate watch from me, but it really isn't. So we haven't seen the best of him, and he's getting adjusted to a way of, I guess the Bundesliga to the Premier League is still a jump, but the actual theory behind it is there's enough in the Bundesliga for him to be able to transition to the Premier League easier than, say, let's say France to, or Spain or Italy to the Premier League. With that saying, teams are going to target him, and we're probably seeing that over the last 2 games. Palace against Bournemouth, didn't really see the best out of him. A little bit weak when pressured, but that is going to come. We saw those glimpses. I agree. We saw enough glimpses from him to be able to say, "Wow, we've got a player." And when he gets his feet and understands how Premier League defenders defend, he will fly. And you got to remember, Kevin De Bruyne was unsuccessful at Chelsea when he first came in and became the player that he is. Man City, not saying it's a case of leaving Liverpool, but you got to remember there's opportunities for younger players to become better over time. It doesn't need to be right away. Same with Salah. Same thing. Kind of wasn't successful when he first came in. Then you see now the type of player. Virgil van Dijk, same thing. Now I have gone for 6 out of 10, and that's just purely because I feel kind of similar to Kerkez. Not the greatest of performances over the last 2 games. Hadn't really shown the glimpses that we want to see, but he plays in such a vital position for Liverpool. The press, the guile, the creativity. There's lots of things, and we kind of saw with Szoboszlai last season, struggled in that position. So it's probably something he needs to learn. So 6 out of 10 for me.
Okay. I mean, if you want, I know I give you two numbers there, but if you want, mine could be 6.5.
Okay.
Nonetheless, I mean, just if you watch him with the ball, man, it's just magnificent. Uh, it's just so hard for me to describe how good this kid is on the ball. The ball never leaves the floor. It's always at the very, just it's always touching the ground. It's beautiful. But nonetheless, we're almost at the 30-minute mark, so let's just jump into that very last. Is it the last one? I think it is the last one.
Yeah.
The very last
Ekitike.
player. Hugo Ekitike. So I am so glad we left him for the very end, because wow, he has impressed me. Total fee that we agreed with Frankfurt, I think it was, is it 96 million euros? Was it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It was less than what Newcastle had offered. So around about 89
Yes,
pounds.
I
British
was
pounds.
really worried because I wasn't expecting him to hit the ground running that fast. But oh my God, this guy, I mean, reminds me so much of Bobby, but at the same time,
There's
that
so much more.
is, yeah, literally, there's so much more than him. The dribbling, the speed, how much he presses, the height, the strength. I mean, I don't have the words to describe how good he is and how impressive he's been. So Charlie, give me a number, but I'm gonna give you mine. I think 9 out of 10. The only reason I don't give him a 10 is because the fee was so big that we paid for him. And
Yeah.
then if we paid 50 million, 45 million, I would have said 10. But for now, I'm going to give you a 9. But God, this guy is so good.
Okay. So I'll come to my score in a minute. Now he reminds me of a few players. And hopefully people will see this, and when they watch this video, they can look back at the performances of Ekitike and say, "Yeah, actually, I understand where Charlie's coming back. He's not talking absolute crap today." But there's Bobby, there's Peter Crouch. I see that. I do see the running ability and whatnot, the touches, his ability to flick through, trying to maneuver balls around, eyes at the back of his head, that top star, and then his finishing was very Suarez. So those three things kind of epitomize what I saw in Ekitike.
Charlie, do you see what I see as well, which I'm going to relay it by an article? Do you see a little bit of Mbappe in there or no?
Yeah, a little bit. I think he's got that standoffish. So do you know so what I'm probably seeing is maybe different to you is how he's actually running with the ball is
Yes.
very Mbappe, where he's kind of holding up the ball, and then it's that fast movement of right, I'm going. So the perfect example was the cross that he did for who was it? It was it's one of the double games that we played against Bilbao. Yeah. So when he crossed the ball, so he was on left wing, did a quick movement, just something that you see from Mbappe, crossed with his left foot, and then one of our players, I can't remember who it was, scored a goal. But yeah, I definitely do see that.
Just the way that he runs for me, and the way that he dribbles, he's just so tall and so powerful. There's, I don't know, it's just. And then there's this article, I forgot, maybe it was from Lou. It was from Louis Steele, maybe, I think it was. It was saying that they were many years ago when he was actually at this other French side. Was it Lens or Nantes? I forgot what French side was it. But
Reims, I think he was played for
Reims.
Yeah.
So they told him, so we're going to compare you to the type of players, player A, B, and C. And one of those players is Kylian Mbappe. So we really think that you're going to be just as good as this and this player, or maybe even Kylian Mbappe levels. And he was performing at the level of Kylian Mbappe back in the day. And they were like saying, wow, this guy is really going to become the next big thing. So obviously right now, we're not going to compare him to Kylian Mbappe because Mbappe is world-class level at the moment. And I think Ekitike is very raw yet, despite his success in the Bundesliga. But we're about to see in a year or two, we're about to see probably one of the best attackers ever. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and say ever because wow.
And I guess it comes back to the very first thing that I asked: do Liverpool really need Isak? Yes, I would say yes, because I would love to get more players and build a squad, because we can then play more games at a higher intensity because people are more rested. But Ekitike just is showing his class already in a Liverpool shirt.
But do they need Isak or do they need another striker?
What's the difference?
Because if they need Isak, we're talking about probably the best Premier League striker. Or are we just talking about a backup striker that's above average?
Okay, I understand. For me, Liverpool should buy the best that they can get. Okay. Now, the money allows us to buy the best, and the best at the moment here today is Isak. So I would always go for that. That's my kind of philosophy. If I was a sporting director, that's what I would do. If money allows me to buy the best, I will buy the best. And it's a statement. It's to everyone out there, whether it's Arsenal, Man City, we mean business, but to everybody else, to Newcastle, to Aston Villa, to teams around Europe, we mean business. That's the way I see it.
So someone like a Mateta, you wouldn't consider him at the moment just as a backup option, no?
I actually think the drop off now is too high. I'm sorry, in terms of Ekitike to Mateta. I like Mateta. I think he's a very, very good player. But what are you going to get? What are you going to get out of him when you've got someone of Isak coming in who probably is ahead of Ekitike right now, but the gap may close in a year, 2 years time, and then we've got two of the best centre forward lineups in the world.
I agree, and I like that judgment. What I want him now, absolutely. Do I think that he's not as crucial as I think many may think? I also believe that. I do think we can wait one more year.
It's a long season, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long season.
So it is like a 50-50 for me. I do think we are able to wait one more year, but only if we bring one forward that can play as a striker and as a winger, maybe like a Diogo Jota type of player, what he brought to the team, that he was sometimes a 9, he was sometimes a winger.
We've got that. Now, I totally agree, but we've got that in Fede Chiesa. We've got that player. Now, you saw that, and people may laugh, but I actually think that Chiesa could become, God rest his soul, the Jota that we love. The fans love him because of the personality, actually, and he's a very good player that can actually come in, play 10, 15 minutes here and there, score those vital goals, and when we need him, we can, you know, put him in cup games and play those games there. Say, Freddy, here's your chance. Hey, let's go for it. That's my personal opinion.
I like him. If Arne Slot is finally in good terms with him, and Chiesa is no longer at the basement locked up, I think I would love him to be the one designated player. But hopefully he stays. We don't even know if he's going to stay yet, despite some reports saying that he's decided to stay. The signing of Alexander Isak, if it becomes at the end of the day, you know, viable, and we end up bringing him, I think could shake some things up in there. But we'll see. Other than that, I mean, do you have any averages for us so we can close the video out, Charlie?
I was actually going to give Ekitike 10. I think he's been perfect. You know, to score 2 goals in 2. You know, the first one's obviously not a competitive match, but, you know, the Community Shield is still a big enough game to consider. He scored against Bournemouth. He played really well, set up another goal for Gakpo, caused all kinds of problems for a really, really good defence. So 10. I didn't catch your Frimpong. Was it 8 that you gave him?
I think I gave him 8.5. Yeah, I think it was an 8.
I think it was 8.5. So Mamardashvili, I gave 5, you gave 8. It's a 6.5 for him. Kerkez, I gave 6, you gave 6, so that's a 6. Frimpong, I gave 7.5, you gave 8.5, so that's 8. Leoni is a 5 and a 7. So that's a 6 average. Wirtz is a 6, and then a 6.5 from you, which is, you know, essentially 6.25. And then Ekitike, which I'm really, really disappointed at. I was hoping for a perfect 10, but I gave a 10. You gave 9, so that's a 9.5 from our main man, the Frenchman, the Enigma, Hugo Ekitike.
Love that, and obviously we can come back to this mid-season and probably at the end of the season as well and compare these ratings. That'll be amazing.
And absolutely. The way that we're trying to do this channel, I think it'd be perfect. Keep on doing this. See how we go.
Yeah, and then other than that, expect some surprises next week that obviously we're not going to be speaking of them yet. But other than that, it closes off, Mr. Charlie.
Yeah, no, that is a wrap from the LFC transfer room. I'm Charlie Sadiva. I'm joined by the brilliant Dan Isquerio, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hit the like, drop your thoughts, put your numbers in the chats. Let's get this going. So put your numbers in the comments right down below. Don't forget to subscribe. We're going to be back soon. We're going to try to do some more videos. Until next time, you'll never walk alone.